The great starship trembled as it slid through the darkness of space. Its exterior glowed with cracks and scorch marks, clear signs of a fierce battle. Inside, a tall alien named Varys stood by the main window, his long fingers trembling. He watched the fading stars, wondering if this desperate mission would change his people's fate. He had never seen Earth before, but here he was, on the edge of the solar system, hoping the stories were true. Varys belonged to the Killari, a proud and peaceful race. They had lived in harmony on their home planet for centuries. But a new enemy, known only as the Red Scar, had invaded their territory. The Red Scar were ruthless conquerors. They attacked worlds without warning, leaving ashes behind. No one had ever stood against them successfully. The Killari's strongest defenses had fallen in just a few weeks. Now their homeworld was almost lost. When news reached Varys that humans, a younger and smaller race, had somehow built unstoppable warships, he could not believe it. How could a species with such a short history hold such power? But rumors spread through the galaxy. Whispers of invincible human fleets and Earth's unstoppable guardians filled every spaceport bar and every secret meeting place in the outer systems. At first, many doubted. Yet one fact remained. No one had seen humans lose a war in decades. Varys had little choice. The Killari Council sent him to Earth as a final hope. If these humans were as strong as legends claimed, then maybe, just maybe, they could help save his people from extinction. "Commander," said a junior officer, her voice shaky but polite, "we are ready to hail the humans. The coordinates for their orbital station are set." Varys took a deep breath. "Send the request. Pray they respond." Far away, in Earth's orbit, a sleek station hovered between the planet and the moon. It was large enough to hold thousands of people. Its surface flashed with light from communication towers and defensive turrets. Even from a distance, the station looked prepared for any threat. Inside its command center stood Admiral Naomi Carter, a stern woman with silver hair and sharp eyes. She had once led Earth's most celebrated fleet in a war against a dangerous pirate armada. Now she served as the commander of this vital orbital station. A holographic screen flickered in front of her. A soft alarm indicated an incoming signal. "Admiral," a technician said, "we have an unidentified ship requesting contact. They are sending a distress message. It appears they are Killari." Naomi had heard the stories. The Killari were a peaceful people known for trade and diplomacy. She had never seen them beg for help before. This could mean trouble. She lifted her chin and signaled the technician. "Open the channel." When Varys's face appeared, Naomi noticed how tired he looked. His eyes were wide with fear, but his voice remained steady. "Greetings, Admiral Carter. I am Varys of the Killari people. We come in peace and in need. We beg an audience with the leaders of Earth." Naomi studied him for a moment. She had seen many ambassadors and many desperate faces. Something told her this was serious. "State your purpose," she said calmly. Varys's voice broke slightly. "Our world is under attack by a force known as the Red Scar. We cannot defend ourselves. We have heard tales of your powerful fleets, your warships that never fall. We beg for your aid. If you do not help us, my people will vanish." The command center fell silent. Naomi exchanged a glance with her closest advisor, Captain Rivers, who looked equally concerned. Humanity had grown stronger over the years. They had discovered new technologies and had faced many dangers. But the thought of another unstoppable threat was unsettling. Still, humans had always believed in standing against tyranny. That belief was at the heart of Earth's new global alliance. Naomi pressed a button on her console. "We will allow your ship to dock in our station. Please follow the guidance signals. We will hear your story in full, and then we will decide how to proceed." "Understood." Relief flooded Varys's face. "Yes, Admiral. We are grateful." Minutes later, the damaged Killari vessel slowly approached. Earth's orbital station extended docking arms to guide it in. A medical team and security detail stood ready. Earth might be willing to help, but caution was always wise. No one knew what shape the Killari crew was in, or if they carried hidden risks. Varys stepped onto the station with two of his officers. The humans around them wore dark uniforms with official emblems on their shoulders. The Killari were tall, with thin limbs and shimmering blue skin. They carried no visible weapons, just small translation devices around their necks. Admiral Carter arrived to greet them. She stood firm, hands behind her back, every bit a soldier. "Welcome aboard," she said. "You may follow me to the conference chamber." Walking through the station's corridors, Varys noticed the many human soldiers, engineers, and scientists. He saw advanced technology, shining robotics, and powerful rifles slung over shoulders. Everything about this place said that humans were prepared for any crisis. For the first time in weeks, he felt a spark of hope. In the conference chamber, Varys began his plea. He described how the Red Scar had launched a surprise invasion of Killari space. He showed images of burning cities and destroyed ships. Admiral Carter and her officers listened carefully. Each scene of destruction made their faces harder, more determined. The humans had seen war before, but something about the Red Scar's cruelty set off an angry fire in their eyes. When the presentation ended, silence gripped the room. Then Naomi stood. The Earth Alliance was founded to protect not just our planet, but also innocent lives across the galaxy, she said. "Your story moves us, Varys. The Red Scar sound like a threat we cannot ignore." Varys bowed his head. "Then you will help." Naomi glanced at her officers. They nodded in agreement. "We will discuss details with our council, but yes, humanity will stand with the Killari." Varys closed his eyes in gratitude. A wave of relief washed over him. But in Naomi's gaze, there was a steely resolve. She knew that this fight would not be easy. The Red Scar was a new danger, one that might be bigger than any past enemy. Humanity's advanced warships had never failed before, but they had also never faced a threat like this. Outside the station window, Earth glowed like a bright blue jewel. Varys thought of his own world, now filled with smoke and fear. He prayed that these humans were everything the rumors claimed. If not, the Killari would not be the only ones facing the firestorm of the Red Scar. As the station's lights hummed softly, the first steps toward an uncertain alliance began. The fall had started for the Killari. Now, with human warships on the horizon, the rise was about to begin. Only time would tell if it would be enough. Rising tensions and new alliances, rally and confirmation. Back on the orbital station, an uneasy silence settled in the conference chamber after Admiral Naomi Carter agreed, in principle, to help the Killari. Varys felt relief, but also worry. He knew humans were powerful, yet he also knew that the Red Scar were more dangerous than anyone realized. Admiral Carter leaned forward, resting her elbows on the smooth metal table. "Varys," she said, "my officers and I must present your request to the Earth Council. They make final decisions about large-scale operations. But I promise you this, humans do not stand by while innocents suffer." Varys nodded. "Thank you, Admiral. My people are grateful." Captain Rivers stood by Naomi's side. He was a tall man with serious eyes, a man who had fought in many conflicts. "We have limited time," he said. "If the Red Scar is advancing quickly, we need to act soon. Still, we must confirm that our fleets can face them." Admiral Carter gave him a small nod. Then she turned to Varys. "I would like you to speak with the council yourself. Show them the images you showed us. Explain the threat in your own words. Humans respond best when they can see the truth." Varys exhaled, trying to calm his racing heart. "I will do whatever it takes," he said. "Just tell me where to begin." A day later, Earth's capital city. Varys had never seen such a place. Towering skyscrapers stood near lush green parks. Streams of vehicles filled the skyways, while people from many nations, and even a few other alien worlds, walked side by side on the streets below. Everywhere he looked, there was a sense of progress and unity that his own world once had before the Red Scar arrived. Now he stood in a grand building called the Earth Council Hall. It was circular, with tall pillars and a high-domed ceiling. Leaders from different regions of Earth sat around a large table. Holographic displays floated in midair, showing news broadcasts and important data. A few delegates glanced at Varys with curiosity. He felt a surge of nervousness under their stares. Admiral Carter guided him forward. "Do not worry," she whispered. "They will listen." At the center of the chamber, the council chairwoman, an older woman named Luciana Reyes, rose to greet them. "Admiral Carter, Captain Rivers, welcome. And you, Varys of the Killari, we are honored by your presence. We understand you come with a dire request." Varys felt his throat tighten. He bowed his head respectfully. "Yes, Chairwoman Reyes, my people face extermination by a foe we cannot stop. The Red Scar has already destroyed many of our cities. They are brutal and show no mercy." A hush fell over the room as Varys displayed holograms of the Killari homeworld. There were images of smoldering ruins, shattered ships, and entire continents scared by orbital bombardment. Many council members gasped. Others exchanged grim looks, their expressions revealing both shock and determination. "We have fought pirates and hostile races before," one council member said, "but we have never seen such total devastation in so short a time." Varys clasped his hands together, trying to hold on to hope. The Red Scar use advanced weapons. They strike quickly, leaving few survivors. They seek only to conquer and enslave. Please, if there is any help you can give, our entire species will be in your debt." Chairwoman Reyes bowed her head for a moment. Then she raised her gaze to the rest of the council. "Admiral Carter, you have worked with many fleets in your career. Can the invincible warships stand against this threat?" Naomi Carter straightened her posture. "Yes, Chairwoman. Our warships are our greatest achievement. Their armor is nearly impenetrable, and their energy weapons can pierce most shielding. I believe we can stop the Red Scar, but we must move fast. Every day we wait, more Killari die." Reyes studied the Admiral's face. "Time is short," she agreed. "How soon can you deploy?" Captain Rivers cleared his throat. "We have 3 main fleets on standby. With the Council's approval, we can begin mobilizing within 24 hours. However, we need a base of operations near Killari space." Varys stepped forward eagerly. "We have an outpost on a moon close to the invasion front. It's small, but it can serve as your base. The Red Scar has not reached it yet." At that, the council members shared questioning looks. Some worried about the distance and the danger. Others seemed ready to send help without delay. "We must vote," the chairwoman declared. "But I see no reason to deny this request. Humanity cannot stand by and watch an ally fall." One by one, the council members pressed a small panel in front of them. A holographic chart in the center of the room displayed the results. Green bars shot upward, one after another. When the voting ended, the entire room buzzed with quiet excitement. The council had spoken. Earth would act. Varys bowed low, tears pooling in his eyes. "You do not know what this means to us," he said in a trembling voice. "You have given us hope." Chairwoman Reyes stood. "Then it is settled. Admiral Carter, Captain Rivers, prepare your fleets. Make all necessary arrangements. Varys, you will remain in close contact with the Council. We will coordinate our forces and share intelligence." Later that evening, Orbital Military Headquarters. Admiral Carter and Captain Rivers worked late into the night, along with dozens of officers and strategists. Large tactical screens showed star maps of Killari space. Red lines marked the enemy's path. The humans studied these lines carefully, looking for signs of weakness or patterns in their attacks. "We must assume the Red Scar has advanced sensors," Captain Rivers said. "They might see us coming if we don't use stealth." Admiral Carter tapped on a control panel, bringing up the specifications of the invincible warships. Her eyes flickered over the data. Thick plated hulls, powerful shield arrays, advanced rail cannons that could tear through enemy battleships in a single volley. "We have the firepower," she replied. "But the Red Scar have unknown tactics. We can't take any chances." At that moment, a door slid open, and Varys stepped into the conference room with nervous steps. "Admiral," he said softly, "my people thank you for all you're doing. I've just received a message from home. The enemy is preparing a large assault on our capital city in 3 days." Naomi Carter's expression tightened. "Then we have to launch as soon as possible. Our first wave of ships will depart in the morning. Captain Rivers, make sure they have full support." Rivers saluted. "Yes, Admiral." Turning to Varys, Naomi placed a hand gently on his shoulder. "We will do our best to stop them before it's too late. The Red Scar must learn that their cruelty ends here." Varys nodded, feeling both gratitude and fear. He had seen the might of human technology, but he also understood how merciless the Red Scar could be. The question lingered in his mind: would even these famed warships be enough? As he left the conference room, the corridor lights guided him back toward the docking bay. Through a large window, he saw a view of Earth's orbit. Massive human battleships lined up in perfect rows. Their metal surfaces gleamed under the station lights, as if daring any foe to stand in their way. Varys felt a surge of hope. If the humans were as formidable as legend said, maybe the Killari still had a chance. Far away, on his ravaged homeworld, his people prayed for salvation. Little did they know that humanity had already set the wheels in motion. A new alliance was formed, and soon the unstoppable fleets of Earth would head into the stars to face a nightmare like none they had ever known. The storm was indeed gathering, but this time, the Killari would not stand alone. The humans, with their unwavering courage and their invincible warships, were about to prove once more why the galaxy had come to fear and respect the name of Earth. The final stand, climax, and resolution. In the vast expanse near the Killari homeworld, the human fleet emerged from a slip-space corridor. Dozens of warships glowed under distant starlight, each one a monument to Earth's finest technology. At the head of this mighty armada was the flagship, HS Valiant, its hull reflecting the bright flashes of weapon systems coming online. Inside the flagship's command center, Admiral Naomi Carter stood before a large display screen. Data streams and star maps floated in holographic layers. Red dots marked enemy ships on the outskirts of the Killari system. The Red Scar had positioned themselves in a blockade formation, clearly expecting a fight. Captain Rivers pointed to the screen. "The Killari capital is under heavy attack. Ground forces are barely holding on. The Red Scar has blockaded the entire planet. If we don't break through soon, the Killari city defenses will collapse." Admiral Carter nodded. "Launch all fighter wings. We'll strike the blockade from multiple angles. Keep the larger battleships together. Our goal is to clear a path so we can land relief forces." The bridge fell silent, but tension buzzed in the air. This was the moment everyone had prepared for. Some officers whispered prayers under their breath. Others simply tightened their grips on the consoles. They all knew what was at stake: the survival of an entire species. Aboard the Killari capital ship, orbiting the battleground, Varys stood next to his pilot, watching the battle unfold through the ship's main window. He saw the Red Scar fleet, dark, angular vessels bristling with weapons, firing volley after volley at the incoming humans. Explosions lit the starfield in bursts of red and orange. To his amazement, the legendary human warships pressed forward without hesitation. Their thick shields flared under heavy bombardment, yet they held firm. The largest ships returned fire with beams of concentrated energy that cut through the Red Scar lines. Smaller human frigates darted between the bigger vessels, using swift maneuvers to target the vulnerable points of the enemy ships. Varys's heart raced. He had never seen such discipline and precision in combat. The humans moved like a single entity, each warship playing its part perfectly. Hope surged in his chest. Perhaps his people would be saved after all. First wave, breaking the blockade. As the battle continued, Admiral Carter directed her forces with calm efficiency. The Red Scar responded with brutal counterattacks, but each time the invincible warships stood strong. Missiles that could level cities exploded against reinforced hulls, causing damage but never enough to destroy. In a bold maneuver, Captain Rivers took his cruiser, HS Endurance, straight into the center of the Red Scar formation. The enemy tried to concentrate their fire on him, but the Endurance's shields withstood the onslaught long enough for Earth's battleships to move in from the flanks. Soon, the blockade began to crumble under the overwhelming firepower. "Enemy lines are weakening," shouted one of the human tacticians. Admiral Carter's eyes shone with determination. "All ships press the advantage. Don't let them regroup." Within minutes, several Red Scar vessels exploded in brilliant bursts of flame, while others reeled from heavy damage. Some tried to retreat, only to find themselves cornered by fast-moving human corvettes. Slowly but surely, a path toward the planet's surface was cleared. On the surface, the last defense. Down on the Kilari capital world, the sky flickered with lights from the orbital battle. The Kilari defenders, exhausted from weeks of constant fighting, took cover behind collapsed buildings. Around them, Red Scar ground troops advanced, confident in their impending victory. Suddenly, streaks of orange fire tore through the clouds. Human dropships descended in tight formations, landing in the heart of the embattled city. The ramp of each dropship slammed down, and armored human soldiers poured out, weapons raised. From behind a damaged wall, a group of Kilari civilians watched in awe as these newcomers quickly formed defensive lines. Energy shields flickered alive, blocking incoming fire from the Red Scar. Then the human soldiers returned fire with synchronized volleys, driving the enemy back step by step. Kilari fighters cheered and rushed to join the counterattack. For the first time in weeks, they were not alone. Hope spread like wildfire across the battered city. The combined human Kilari force began pushing the Red Scar forces away from the vital command centers and shelters. Varys, who had arrived on one of the dropships, felt tears form in his eyes as he saw children and elders emerging from hiding, running toward the protection of the new Allied lines. He urged them to keep moving. "Head for the shelters," he shouted, his translator making his words ring clear. High orbit, the enemy's last gambit. Back in space, the Red Scar's command ship, a massive dreadnought, loomed above the planet. It bristled with weapons that could devastate entire fleets. Admiral Carter recognized it instantly on her tactical display. The dreadnought's thick armor and advanced shielding made it a dangerous foe. A sudden alarm blared on the HSS Valiant. "Admiral, the enemy dreadnought is charging its primary cannon," warned a lieutenant. Naomi's mind raced. If that cannon fires at the surface, it could destroy the city. "We need to stop them now." Captain Rivers' voice crackled through the comm. "My ship is damaged, Admiral. We can't make it in time." Naomi clenched her teeth. "Then the Valiant will do it. Helm, plot an intercept course." The HSS Valiant turned sharply, engines roaring with power. The dreadnought's weapon ports glowed with lethal energy. Seconds stretched like hours. "Fire the main guns," the Admiral ordered. Beams of radiant energy lanced from the Valiant, slamming into the dreadnought's shield. Sparks and fire erupted across the dreadnought's surface, but the enemy's main cannon continued to charge. "Their shields are weakening," an officer said. "One more full volley might break through." Admiral Carter steadied herself. "All batteries, concentrate on the center of that cannon array. Fire." A thunderous blast shook the Valiant as every weapon unleashed maximum power. The dreadnought's shields flickered, then shattered. The final beam scorched the cannon's barrel, causing a chain reaction. With a deafening burst visible across the entire starfield, the enemy dreadnought erupted in a massive explosion. Its wreckage scattered in all directions, leaving a bright cloud of debris. Cheers erupted on every human ship, echoed by the Kilari ships still in orbit. Admiral Carter exhaled, relief flooding through her. "Stand down from Red Alert," she said. "We've won." Aftermath. A new dawn. With the Red Scar's flagship destroyed and their forces in full retreat, the battle ended. Over the following days, human and Killari teams worked together to rebuild the capital. Wherever Varys went, he found scenes of relief and gratitude. Killari children ran up to human soldiers with flowers. Families offered thanks in trembling voices. At a grand ceremony in the capital's main plaza, still scared by craters and rubble, Killari leaders officially thanked Admiral Carter, Captain Rivers, and the Earth Council for their bravery. Even though the war had cost many lives, a new hope now shone in every Killari face. Standing on a makeshift stage, Varys spoke to his people. "We were on the brink of destruction," he said, voice echoing through the plaza. "But humanity answered our call. They brought not just their invincible warships, but also their unwavering courage. Today we stand free again, because we did not fight alone." Applause thundered across the plaza. Admiral Carter stepped forward, her uniform still bearing the scorch marks from the last battle. The Earth Alliance was created to ensure that no peaceful world would face darkness alone, she said. "We stand here, ready to rebuild, and to look forward to a future of friendship. The Red Scar thought they could break you. They were wrong." In the days and weeks that followed, the Red Scar withdrew from Killari space entirely. Rumors spread that they feared human retaliation too much to risk another encounter. The once invaded territories began to heal, with humans and Killari working side by side to restore life to what it once was. At last, the conflict was over. The Killari had survived, forever indebted to their new allies. And humanity had proven, once again, that when called upon, their invincible warships, and the brave spirits who commanded them, could stand against any threat in the galaxy. For the Killari, it was the end of a tragic chapter. For humanity, it was a reminder of their calling to protect those who could not protect themselves. And for both races together, it was the beginning of a friendship that would shine like a beacon of hope among the stars.